All right, you know it. The Arizona summer has begun, and with the heat, you're going to want to make sure your AC can last through the season. That's where Eric Bryan with Precision Air and Heating comes to the rescue. So good to see you.
Thanks for having me back.
Well, you know, we've been talking about this because it affects so many people. You never know, like, when to replace your AC unit.
Yes.
You know, maybe it's not running good, it's not cooling the house, but how do you really know?
Well, it's the biggest dreaded thing for most homeowners, right, is when is it? Because it's a big expense, and most homeowners don't know. But I tell you, most homeowners have a pretty good idea when their unit's on the fritz, it's older, and maybe they're just crossing their fingers, hoping it's going to make it through another season. Here's my rule of thumb. If you're spending more money on your air conditioner in repairs than you are in preventative maintenance, and that thing's 12 to 15 years old, it's probably time for you to start getting some estimates and be prepared for that major breakdown so you know when it's time to replace it. At least you're halfway prepared.
Yeah, I told you mine is not good, but you know, I'm kind of waiting, make it last. But you say, you know what, you might not want to just make it last, replace it, and it can save you monthly.
Well, from an efficiency standpoint, getting a new system's always going to make you save money, right? Because the older systems, assuming it's 10 to 15 years old when you replace it, the best SEER rating you probably had when it was new was 6 to 8 SEER. The minimum SEER ratings with the new equipment today is 14. So you're really going to double your efficiency on a new piece of equipment. It's just not sexy money. It's not money people want to spend.
I know, it's hard.
And they just kind of limp it on and limp it on. But when you know it's to that age and it's costing you money, it's probably time to replace it.
Okay, now once I decide I'm going to replace it, let's talk about the estimate and how that should work.
A lot of people get caught up here, okay? Here's the thing. With the newer demands for higher efficiency, equipment has gotten bigger. They've enlarged the coils to get better efficiencies out of them. But the key point here is that the BTU ratings, the cooling ratings, have gone down. So, for example, a system that used to have 10,000 BTUs of cooling, it might be the same size and only have 9,000. So replacing a unit, old for new, same size, a lot of times could be the worst thing a homeowner can do. There's a lot of detail that goes into estimating and putting together the proper system. A manual heat load calculation has to be done, where we measure your doors, your windows, your sun exposure, how much insulation you have in your home to make sure that we size the new system properly. We deal with a lot of customers that have just spent $7,000, $8,000 on a new piece of equipment, and the contractor that did it just swapped old for new. And they're half a ton undersized. It's running all the time, and now they save no money.
Yeah, and they said it's not. My house doesn't feel cool, even though I paid all this money for a new unit.
Well, it just runs all the time.
Right.
So if you're getting estimates from contractors, you don't want to go with a contractor that's there for 5 minutes and says, oh, you have a 4-ton, here's the price on a new 4-ton. They didn't get in your attic, they didn't look at your insulation, they didn't measure your doors and windows, your sun exposure, and most importantly is doing a manual load J calculation.
So those are the things that we should expect to happen, and the information that we should expect to get when we're getting an estimate
would be an accurate size, right, of what you need for your home.
Right.
I mean, people need to be prepared to spend $6,000 to $8,000. That's the average cost per system. If you got a contractor that's quoting you $14,000, $15,000 on a single system, you need to be very, very leery of an estimate that's that high. But the most important thing, obviously, with a new air conditioner too, is the installation. All these systems come off the factory floor and they're operational. They're generally good pieces of equipment. All the systems are pretty much the same. It's the installation that really dictates whether that system's going to operate properly or not. So doing some research on your contractor, looking to the register of contractors, finding a contractor that's going to be thorough on their estimate will also indicate that they're probably going to be pretty thorough on their installation, and you're pretty safe to go with a company like that.
Yeah, and is that what makes Precision different too?
That's exactly what makes us different. We really take our time. I mean, an estimate should take anywhere from an hour to hour and 15 minutes to properly evaluate what you need. We sit down with our homeowners and make sure that we're meeting their budget. We don't try to sell them a piece of equipment that they can't afford. We can sell a piece of equipment from, 14 SEER, $5,500 pieces of equipment, all the way to 20 SEER, $10,000 pieces of equipment, whatever suits their budget. So we're there to educate them and help them and make sure that they get the right system.
Yeah, you did it once for me in my old house.
Yes,
I'm probably going to have to call you again.